Okay, now it's maybe my turn to speak. Or do you still need to talk about your something? Going out or in? So they asked me to talk about my art. I'm happy you came this morning to see my latest piece of art. I come from Finland, and I know most of you are from Sweden. I heard so maybe some of you have seen my work in Sweden also. I have been exhibiting in, I have a permanent work in Umedalen, in Örebro. I have been in Malmö and some other city also. From Göteborg. So I start. They say I have time until 1. I very often talk too much. So I want somebody to tell me now stop. So, yeah, this is the sort of the photos are not in time or they made this order in Maramotti Collezione. So, this is the work I made in the year of the Estonia accident in Finland. Also Swedish people were involved. It was very big drama for me. This is the year 95. The accident happened, I think, October 94. I was pregnant at that time, and I remember very well the TV interview where one Swedish young boy was talking about that, please do not call me hero, that all the heroes drowned. Because they had to fight there in the water to get into the sailing boats. And he was telling that he heard only women screaming around the boat in the water. And you needed to have a lot of energy in your hands to climb into the boat. It's difficult, it's very difficult when it's waving like this and cold, and so only young men survived, who were stronger. And they were telling that in the boat they had to push the other around to get into. So I was sure that, I was thinking that all the females drowned because they were taking care of their children and mothers and fathers. And I was thinking about the struggle of life here in the world, that we are like animals. It's only a little surface of you, the civilization about taking care of the other, but when the real fight is, you take care only about yourself. After this, I felt, because when you are pregnant, you are very sensitive what happened. So, yeah, I started to design a new kind of sailing boats. I used to study physics before, so I had ability. I was thinking the sailing boat I designed in the wrong way. So I was designing new possibilities, and I was sending my proposals somewhere, but getting no answer. I was thinking that a sailing boat should be kind of like fishing nets, that they take everything that is in the water, bigger than some size. Also little babies, everything are catched, even if they are unconscious or something. So they will, it's not so difficult to design things like this, but then in the end I made my artwork. This is near the Hankook also, where the accident happened, the southeast point in Finland. It's not far from here, the accident. So the title for this is Journey Home. It was like this. Okay. I remember how cold the water was. I made this in June, and my son was born in the end of June. just a few weeks. So, this work was in Ireland, Brighton, and title for this work is Father. And yeah, there are many points of view for this also. Father is my own memories about my own childhood, when my father died when I was 10 years old, in front of my eyes, very quickly, by heart attack. And I was very afraid. I was hiding under the kitchen table. I escaped the situation, but I couldn't hide. My father saw me hiding, looked through my eyes when he died. So I was the last person, and I felt very guilty after that, that I was hiding, that I didn't go to him to help anyway. I was just in panic. I tried to cover myself with chairs. But this is the big guiltiness in my life, at least, but of course it was very quick. So in a way this is about, I'm also interested in site-specific art, so this is about, this place used to have a big waterfall, so in a way I remade the waterfall, this size, and there is kind of a big avenue from here, the same wideness. So if you walk towards my work in the beginning, you see only dark blue square. And when you get closer and closer, in the end you see the work. This was, with this work, always when I look at this photo, I remember the fight with people who were working in the garden, because it was kind of, there were in Ireland, there's many cars sitting in the park, taking care of the park. And they think my work is too dangerous work. Because when people climb to it, because they are so fond of my work, they will climb on the stone and they will fall down and hurt themselves. So that means they have to, they decided, because there were 7 cars, 7 people sitting there. It is always raining in Dublin, and they closed the park at 5 o'clock with a big gate. But they said that because my work is so dangerous, we need to hire another guard for the work. So we hired one student, a literature student, and because it was raining, she was sitting near, very close to reading a book under the tree. So the other guards were claiming that he doesn't do the work, that it's still too dangerous. So in the end, they put a big fence around the work. So you didn't see the work. Okay, this is one of most important work in my life, I think. This was in Helsinki Cathedral, on Helsinki Cathedral steps in the year 2000. And it was like 3,240 jackets on the steps. And it was all there only for 10 days. And it was a big discussion about this work in Finland. People very much they very much kind of wanted to tell their opinion in newspapers and everywhere, and people were calling me, and some were very angry people also, and there were like some mother very angry that her daughter's wedding is going to be destroyed because of this work in this church. all those older clothing, please take away quickly, it's ugly, and some female were very angry to me that why only men can enter the church. Why there's only men? That in Finland we have equality with sex, so half of them should be women. Because in this work I had only men's jacket, but also men reacted because they felt that I use men as a carpet when I enter the church. So they were both sex were very angry. So it was kind of title in the newspaper that I use men as a carpet. But for me this work, so in the end a lot of reaction came. So in the end I put some white paper in the cafeteria that is on the left. So people could go there and write, and I got more than 100 letters. People write about this work, so it was very, very interesting. And yeah, so for me it is a kind of self-portrait in a way. The title is Way, and I thought it is my struggle of life in a way that the feeling is to try to go more up, to be a better human being, to get to find something that is important in life, that is the essential part, somehow to reach something deeper in your life. So going to church, it's a kind of symbol for this, but I never enter the church. I'm on the step. So, but also the history of the surrounding, because the square is the most important in Finland, the capital city, we have all the power here. We have the church, we have our president, we have our university, our bank is there, and also the military force. Everything is around this square. So all the Finnish history, all the wars, or everything is somehow involved in this work. So, yeah, in a way, this is maybe my main work. We put it up in one day. I made a huge work in my studio beforehand to mark each jacket. And then I had a lot of assistants, we make it just to put it on the step. This is another work, I think it was 2006. This is in the city in Finland, Reggio Children, if you know, in the center of Finland. So this was I chose this place because I'm site-specific artist. For me, the site and the history and everything is important. So this was kind of when I was searching in the Jyväskylä city, I find this place like 16 flagpoles waiting for me in front of the city hall. So I made this kind of fence between the city hall and the church, because the church is now on this side and the city hall is on the other. So there's a little gate to enter, but this is the fence. In a way, now I see it's a similarity with the other work. I didn't think about this before, but now when they are one after each other, so this was the title for this was Towards Flowing Waters. So yeah, there's a kind of moment. Maybe you can't see it in this image, but they are not straight, they go, it's kind of big landscape painting also. think about if you look at it from far, maybe, because it was huge, so you cannot get one image. Human eyes are interesting because they are like this, but when you take a photo, it's very flat. Sorry, there was only one photo of this, no photo from more far. Because it's huge. This is only detail you see in this photo, it's very long. This work was in Brussels. The art museum is building. So it was. This is a similarity with the Umedalen work we have in Sweden. You can find similarity, but it's different surrounding, and the work is different also. But so it's 1 block long, very long, much longer than Umedalen. It was it starts from the street cross from the balcony, from one balcony, light coming from one flat, and it goes above the street, and then it goes little by little, it goes up and enters to the roof of the building, and the last one goes to emptiness. Or first one, not the last, the first one. I like the idea with these directions and colors and forms. This was in Finland, I think it was 97 or 99. About street. The title for this is Shadow, and this building used to be old Finlayson textile factory on the left in Tampere city, and but now the textile factory is not there anymore. It's made for another use. But in the old days we had textile factories in Finland, like maybe in Sweden too. But now the older textile is come to China maybe or some other country, I don't know. Yes, so in this they were collected from Tampere, these jackets. So in a way, jacket is a symbol for myself. After my father's death, when I was like 14, 15 in those adolescent years, I wanted to wear my father's clothing in school. I wanted to make them smaller to fit me from here. I remember I tried to put siren. I don't know this in English, what is it? Seal. Yeah, to make it smaller here, and then I couldn't raise my hand anymore because I didn't know how to make it. So I was like this in school. I wanted to have my father around me very much, and so I made his have his clothing. And when I began to make my art, in the beginning I didn't realize why the jacket is so close to me. I forgot. But I just wanted to have this jacket. So in a way it's me in the jacket. I don't think about men especially. I mean me and human being. I'm one of human beings. This was also in Finland. I'm such an old artist already, so I've done many works. This is in Finland, it's near Mikkeli city, the Anttolankovi Art Center we had. So I made, this is also a detail of the work, the other part of the work. If you enter, there's a very long hall that was quite dark. When you enter there, you are inside a boat. So, but you don't see it well. It was very dark. But when you begin to see with your eyes, when your eyes adapt the darkness, so you will see the. It was towards light. Was the title for this work. It was wonderful in wind. Oh wow! It's moving. Like the whole system is moving totally. It's very wild. For the photo they needed a calm day. This was in Havana Biennale in Cuba. So this is very huge. There's a Cabaña Fortaleza. If somebody went to Havana, sometimes there's a big fortress, and this is the mold that used to be filled with water. There's a bridge over the moat, and there's a big fortress, like 10 times Suomenlinna maybe. But this is kind of, and on the other side there's a sea and Miami, United States, very close to that. So many people from Havana escaped by boat to United States. So in a way this boat was a very important symbol for Cuban people. They felt very close to this. It was also in the wind moving a lot because it's partly in the air. There were very huge winds in Havana. For this was very interesting for me because there were many black people in Cuba. So they were telling me that, oh Kaarina, why it's like that the black people are the last ones. So this is interesting because I tell them, well, why do you think it's the last? Why don't you think it's the first ones in this? Yeah, but they felt like that. They felt that they are always the last ones. This is a detail. So you see the fortress, beautiful stone walls. This was in Japan, in Reggio Children. There is Reggio Children in Japan is very interesting system. There are mountain villages, and all the young people go south, and there are a lot of rice fields on these mountains, and only old people stay there. So one person coming from these villages organized this kind of art triennale. He has a gallery in Tokyo, and he started to organize this kind of thing that he brings international artists to these villages to work with people in the villages and bring culture. And it has been worked already for many years and many times, and now he tells that it starts to work like that people want to move back, because culture brings people back to villages. So I was working with one village people. I had Japanese assistant. They collected clothing from the village, and we made this work that is 200 meters long. And the title for this is like a bridge over troubled water. So in a way I wanted it to start from the parking lot under the cars, and it goes back to origin, to the forest. So in a way, for me, it was a kind of symbol from today to the back, to the origin. So I used old kimonos there in the up. This this work I made in the city where I was born, in Iisalmi. There was a car accident where my cousin died and her wife, his wife. They both died. And I felt, because of the young driver driving too fast. So I made this work, I felt it killed me. So I made my art to be killed. And so I got a permission to make this, but there was no mark that don't drive on art, piece of art, or no. And for me it was very big contribution to this work, because I was very sad when people drive and the work is like going to die all the time. At the same time I made for that. So I wanted to see how people react. So some of them turned away, they didn't want to drive, and some of them wanted to drive very, very much. So they were like very much young drivers, like. So it was there for 2 weeks, and in the end one truck came and parked his car exactly on the white ones there. So everything was flat. So that made me cry so much, so I took it away, everything. And said, okay, now it's done. So the title for this was kind of safe crossing. Yeah. This was in Sweden, in Göteborg. No, Eskilstuna. I'm sorry, Eskilstuna. Sorry, I'm screen Eskilstuna, not Göteborg. Eskilstuna lake, in the middle of the city. So for me this was very interesting work, and I love this work because the wind, we are all in the same boat is the title for this. Wind took it, very slow wind even, it didn't need much wind, it took it, so it was all the time floating in the sky. And when it's calm, it comes down back again. There was a little stone in the middle of the water, of the lake, where it was parked. Like this. You see the stone in the so it was the position, but sort of wind, very, very small, like you see, now it's almost calm. But the work is still floating in the air. It's not parked with a stone, you see the gray spot. Maybe you know Eskilstuna, maybe. There was an exhibition in Eskilstuna, Konstmuseum. The group exhibition of Finnish art. This was in Vancouver, Canada. Vancouver Biennale. This was the title for this work. What was the title of this? Growing connections. It was about because the idea came from the park and the very, very huge trees that are around this work. So I made a kind of growing system, and so made as a trunk of the tree, and the female and children are above in the light, they're making connection with another tree. So it was a kind of so you see there were trucks, many trucks in this. I don't know what is this building. It's kind of I don't know what. But there was this kind of empty building made for flowers, maybe. Maybe it was. I don't know. But it was empty, so I made. I don't remember. Maybe there was 30 like kilon. So I dressed all the kilon with a men's jacket, and all the sleeves were like kind of branches, and the female and children came, and the connection. It was like a happy work. I felt I'm sorry. This work, it's so much light here, so maybe you don't see, or can you see? So, for me this was also very stress to make it, because so many people around me looking at me. Sometimes when I make this work, when I'm so much concentrated in my work, I feel my brain very small to understand all the details, technical detail what I need to do. And at the same time there are kind of buses with tourists coming and everybody asking questions, and I should be a kind of pedagogue at the same time, so it is confusing. Yeah, for this work also it was like to have a deadline coming, the opening date, and so many problems unsolved. So at the same time, like Japanese tourists asking questions all the time. What is this about? What are you doing? Like also the work, the Finnish church. So we had to do it in one day. I remember like 12 buses of people around me, everybody with the same question. What is this about? And then in the end I got so nervous, and I just, my assistant giving answer. Everybody asked, who is the artist, where's the artist? And in the end I just tell them it's art, nothing else. And they write in the newspaper that I came there, I was pregnant, I had 2 children with me, and I climbed the steps and I found the artist and I wanted to discuss about this, and the artist was so unfriendly. It's a fellow, oh my God, how can I be friendly all the time to everybody if I need to work at the same time and solve big problems? I remember in this work, in the end, I put a fence around me with a big text, please do not disturb the artist. And it was, then the office of the Biennale, they say that they have heard that the Finnish artist is very strange. Yeah, I was maybe very unfriendly, and yeah. But sometimes when you have the moment of stress, so you need to silence around. This work was in Venice Biennale last year. I was not part of the official Biennale, but it was kind of a side exhibition organized by the city of Venice, Italian curators. So I made this work. It was on the island San Servo. Anybody visited Venice last year? No? So it is important place for the artist. And in a way, because of this work, I am invited here now, because somebody saw this work in Venice. And so I'm happy that I made this work there. So it started, the title for this work is The Gate. So it started from the water, and part of the jackets for we human beings, they come from water and they drown. They are killed on the steps. They never enter. They are not allowed to enter. Only some of them can enter. And yes, it is like this. They are floating there. The work goes under the water, so they are like suffering there in the water. And I like to see the tide is coming. It's wonderful, the movement of the tide. It's coming to the water and they are there in the water. They cannot enter, but some of them enter, and it is a kind of passage. And in the end, they are the happy people who get into the secret courtyard. And they are dancing there. Okay, this is another work. So this was the work. You see the sea. So there are many people immigrants. This was about immigrants who come by water. Also to Italy. This work was also in Italy, found in northern Ameno, city of Ameno. They were also in water, and in the middle is a kind of table. My memory of hiding, this is Hiding Memories, is the title. This was in France. It was like, they asked me to make something for the city, Le Mans. My French is stupid, but something, Le Mans, right, Le Mans, something like that, they say. And so first they wanted me to make something for the kind of touristic center park. But I wanted to do my work in this part of the city that is full of immigrants, very like kind of big, huge, ugly buildings. And they were telling me that they want to put down these buildings. This area is in a very bad reputation. So I made a kind of work connecting big buildings together, and when the wind moves, sometimes the form of the bird is coming, because sometimes they go very far away from each other and they meet in the middle of the square. It was very interesting, like drawing in the air all the time, moving and changing the form. It should be video, you can't understand it. Oh my God. This is all the work I made for the school in the city very near where I was born, in Lapinlahti is this school. So I made bronze sculptures. This is there were like big leaves or big trees. Yeah. This work is very old, from the 80s. At that time in Helsinki, the metro was very new. And they asked me to make some art for metro station. So I wanted to make this kind of work. I thought that metro is a kind of river, like the river used to be in old days, connecting people. So I killed boats. In a way, I put them in 2 pieces. It's a kind of murder. And so I killed, these boats were collected from the area where I was born, like old wooden boats. So I wanted to remind that all the luxury of today is not there for free. That there were many generations of much work before this time. Very old boats, reminding of the poor time of Finland or something. We don't want. We are in the modern time. So, yeah, sometimes people react very strongly for my artwork. But some people, of course, will love also this, not everybody hates it. But it's always when you go to public spaces, you meet some kind of public that you don't meet in art museum. And people react very direct. They tell direct how they feel. They push away or they kick it or they write newspapers as a terrible artwork. And everybody always thinks that all the money goes to this art, that they used to spend the money for old people in or nursery or something, not for art. And for example, this I paid everything, but in the radio they say that huge amount of money is spent for art, we don't need this kind of art. Yeah, this is also a factory in Finland. I made the title for this is Father. Also in the same, I had the same title in Dublin. But this work was done before in Finland. Do I speak too long? This was in England, in Brighton. In Brighton church, former church that is a kind of culture center. Also a kind of boat that the other part of the boat is somewhere on the other side. And I made this, in a way that was Iraqi war coming at that time, and I felt very bad about this war. And this was the point where British boats go to conquer the world in the older days. So for me, I put the title Beyond Reach, the title for that work. But I remember the curator was very angry with me with this kind of title. She told me that the title should be more happy. And she told me to put the title Cast Off. That means something like let's go by boat. You know, when you totally different opposite title. I don't know how you say that. In the stream you put your water on or your boat in the water, let's go. This was also in England, in Rochester Cathedral. That is a church, a Catholic church. This was incredible. It was wonderful when I remember when I was making this work. Huge, beautiful boys singing. The young boys' voice around me. Every day they come to sing. There's Catholic school close to this and they practice their singing. It was wonderful. For me, like you see the architecture and the dialogue with the architecture. This was the part of the oldest church. Well, I speak too long. This is a landscape and it was empty, is the title for this work. It's This photo was taken in Wyoming, United States, Wyoming Arkansas. This is toilet paper. The title is My Outliner. And I thought that toilet paper is the best material for myself. It is made of, it's very fragile, it's very easy to destroy if you want. It's made to go away, like I am. It's not made to stay here forever, so it's just a little moment we are here, and then you forget. Here, with clothing, I used to, this was in France, in Paris. This is Finnish Helsinki Kunsthalle. Kunsthalle. Kunsthalle.
Yes.
So, for example, okay, here when you walk around this, you see the shadows and lights, so everything moves because the air of your walking toilet paper is so fragile and so it moves. So also the shadows and lights moves, and you are in the movable surrounding. It's wonderful feeling. This is quite old work also. In Finland there's a paper art center in Kuusankoski. So I made this work made of empty potato sacks and potato bags, or how to say in English. And so the title for this was Mouths Open. For me it was kind of maybe naive, now I feel, but at that time I felt strongly the people, hungry people in these poor countries waiting for food. I don't like this photo, but it is the same work. Okay, this is my mother. My mother died quite recently, not when I was already an artist, like 2002, when she was 86. And I had always a kind of difficulty with my feminine part. My mother was very, very feminine. I was more like father was my hero. I wanted to be like my father, very much taking responsibility of the family, making all the men's work, doing all kinds of. And my mother was kind of a dancing lady, loud, kind of beautiful things. And I was always telling, my mother was always telling me that what is the ugliest clothes in the world, so Kaarina will keep it, will wear. She wanted me always to have more makeup and to have more. Okay, so after her death, I make a kind of work I just had to do, I just needed to do this work. So all these female belongings, in a way I murder, I cut them in pieces and give them a new life. And the title for this work was Like a Bird of Passage. So this was the title for of the hymn that we were singing in her funeral, like Niin kuin muuttolintusen tie. We have some Finnish people here, so maybe they know the song, Niin kuin muuttolintusen tie. This was what we were singing, so in a way I give a new life for all these things. They are cut in pieces to be more like insects or birds or something like that, and they go to the other side. I thought they have done their duty in this life, serving my mother. And now when mother dies, these things also need to die. And the wind blows over you. So it is also about the nature is bigger than you are. And the nature is remember more and will be here after us. That's why they make it bigger size. So the nature goes through the walls from room to another and conquers. This is made of ties. About the title for this was I able to fly? So now they are coming more like gallery works all over. It was also huge. It's big work. And this was in the same exhibition. It is, the title for this is, no, it was not at the same exhibition. There were 2 years. From generation to generation is the title for this work. From generation. I made this animal that is very small. Anyway, well, this was together with this one. They were in 2 rooms, so this was here. This work is under the light escapes. The light escapes. For me, this work was about that in every person there is an innocent side inside you. That you did not do any bad things or wrong things. But you cover the innocent side in your life with roles, different roles you have. And this is one of the landscapes what I have made. I very often made a landscape. I feel very happy when I make the title for this is "And the Sea is Empty." This is my mother. Mother is the title for this. So I made this, they were really her shoes. I cut it. And there is a fish inside. The Finnish heritage, or how do you say the fish? I don't know in English, but there was when I was a little girl, I didn't eat. Everybody say that I don't eat at all. I was never hungry. I was escaping when there was eating time. I was in the forest or in somewhere hiding, and because I hated eating somehow, and this was a big problem. Everybody was worried about my eating, and I never felt hungry. I was asking, what does it mean when you feel hungry? And I remember when the school began, I was like 15 kilograms at the age of 7. And they sent a letter from school. I had to give to my mother that why don't you give food to your daughter? That the daughter is like unnourished. So my mother was very angry because for years she was so much giving me food that I never ate. My mother was very loved to dance. I also like to dance, but we had to dance all the time. Not all the time. But I remember the Saturdays when we cleaned the house, so we danced a lot together with my mother. She wants to teach. We were only girls at that time. Our father was already dead, so we were 3 girls and mother. And my mother was a happy person, always like enjoy life. So this is. I remember we had a flower called the Queen of Night, like Yönkuningatar. What is it in Swedish language? I don't know. Okay, you know the flower. So it is in flower only for one night. I remember she wake up every child had to be wake up the whole night to look at the flower and the smell of the flower in the home and everything. And my mother very happy with the flower. So I made this work, the title is Queen of Night. So I opened the shoe. I didn't add anything, but this is like a dancing shoe opened. I made the flowers. And also insects. So it's kind of good and bad in the same work. And they are all in spoons. They are all in spoons. And the spoon comes from the memory of the fish soup. So they are insects, and the beauty and ugly in the same work in a way. That the insect is coming from my night dreams, where I very often, when I was, not anymore maybe so much, but I feel that in my dreams that one insect is around my eye. And it's moving all the time. I try to take it away. If I try to take it away, my eye is falling down. So to be able to see, I have to keep the animal in my eye. Otherwise I don't see. It's not so nice dream. I made first time using with men's jacket, and it was in the exhibition in the gallery in Finland in '88. This work. Yeah. It was quite a dark room. That when you enter, you don't see very clearly what it is, but then you begin to see. And it went around the whole room like this, that to enter you are in the middle of this jackets going like that. So I remember very well people were thinking about this work. One old man was telling me that I am part of this work, that he will die very soon. He feels already like graveyard. And I remember one lady told me, younger lady, that this is about her problem in life. All the men look the same. She doesn't find the men, they are the same all the time. And then there were one article in newspaper that I am against labor union with this work in Finland. The union, it depends who you are, what you see. Also, I would like to, about the interpretation, I go back for this work. You know, there was one art critic, not critic, the one person in a very important art museum telling me that I hate your work, Kaarina. She really, he doesn't want to enter this gallery where this work was, because she knew the window, through the window, that how can you be so stupid to do the female genitals so clear? For him, this was female genitals and this a man. So he saw only this. And he was telling me that the art should be more deep, not like that simple words. And I know he is a gay, he does love, not like women's feminine. This is quite a recent work. Maybe 1 year ago, I made this for the gallery, so the title for this is The Greatest of the Three is Love. So there were kind of these three things from the Bible, but my English is not so good, I don't talk about this more. And this one was also the title for this, and I would have wanted to blossom out. So in a way, there is the kind of dying, almost in the mud. on the floor, that jacket, and still trying to be a flower. I wanted to change my life. I think this was the last. Okay, that was it.